Hello, everyone. So, we're here to talk about the Hallmark Christmas experience with three lovely girls, Martha, Cindy, and Nikki, and they're going to share all the ins and the outs and the excitement. I'm excited for you. I can't wait to hear about it. So, while we're waiting for everybody to pop in, we had 36 pop in right away. We could just say hi to everyone. I see they're talking. So, Christina, who's the admin for the fan page for Chris, she was under the weather, but it looks like she's getting better. And I saw something really cool. Let's see. They're all talking about their illnesses. Let's see. Christina has this to say before we get started. I loved my note Nikki got me from Chris. I look at it every day.
Well, I made a copy of it in case it got lost, so I can look at it every day too. Only it's not my name.
I took a picture of it.
And so I took a picture of it.
And this is cute because they're suggesting that she frame it, and Christina says, "Yes, it's framed."
I was going to say, I think it already is.
That's good. Yeah. I have something to show that I'm going to frame too. So,
all right, hold on to that.
Okay.
I'll let you share all of those goodies. Jan's here, and Jan was saying, "This is what we're just wait." Oh, we got 44 in now. We're just going to give it another minute. Jan's saying, "I'm so glad that Nikki and Martha," and she doesn't realize, Cindy, you're in. And I didn't leave you out. I just made the thumbnail when you finally told me you were coming, so I didn't change it. But
no problem.
Surprise! Cindy's our guest, and
you get a bonus guest here.
Jan says she's so glad that Nikki and Martha were Martha. Listen to me, Nikki and Martha. You got a new nickname, Martha. Martha. Are able to get to Kansas and are now including us in their trip. I know we're going to live vicariously through them. It's going to be great. Sandy's here and she's saying hello. Sandy, watch, I always insult somebody and I don't mean to. Sandy, your name is not a name that I recognize. Do any of you girls recognize Sandy's name?
Selecki.
Are you new,
No.
Sandy?
Sandy, hi, Sandy.
Hi, Sandy. Now, if anyone is here and they're here because, the people find the channel or the podcast in different ways, we will be talking a lot about Chris McNally only because these girls are big time Chris McNally fans. We love other characters and other actors, but not all of them were there. Maybe more will be there next time. What do you think? More of the cast? You think?
Well, they joked that they'd used up all their getting rid of fly budget, so that's why Bill and Jack and Martin weren't there.
All right. Sandy, okay, I always insult someone and I don't mean it. It's just that sometimes certain names stand out. I don't remember seeing yours. I apologize, but I'm glad you're back. So that's a good thing. All right. Oh, Christina, we will tell you. Okay, we sound insane when we say that, but we will. All right, girls, let's get started. Martha, I'm going to start with you. So I'm curious, Martha, how long have you been a Lucas Bouchard or a Chris McNally fan?
Since season 6, when he carried the box and said hi to Elizabeth, and of course when he dropped the money on the floor, that was it for me right there.
Oh,
yeah.
So, did you then go back and watch all his movies when you found out that he had made other things for Hallmark? Did you catch up?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sweetest
and
Heart,
Martha,
and I loved.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying, Sweetest Heart and Tip Line Mystery. I love that, and also the dog one I liked a lot. The Tale of Love.
Yes, that one was a good one. Now, you don't have to give us your address, but where do you hail from? Let everyone know that doesn't know.
I hail from Peyton, Colorado.
All right.
And Chuck and I drove to the Christmas experience from Colorado. It took us about 9 hours. It was about 600 miles. So we just drove.
Wow.
It was a straight shot from here to Kansas City.
Oh, okay. That's a good thing. And Cindy, Cindy,
no mountains, nothing. You just straight.
Yeah, if I had to cross over mountains, I don't know if I could handle that. I had to do mountains in a train once. And when we got to the point where I could see across the gap the other side of the train. I was like, get me off. I need to. Never again will do that. I digress.
Yeah.
All right, Cindy, tell us about how, now you're a member of the Chris McNally fan page, correct?
Yes, I am.
And how do you know the actor Chris? Is it because you're just great buds?
We are
Like
now.
this. Yeah.
We're hugging buddies.
Wait, you might be on the no zone now, you girls. You were hugging too much. But they got your face up there. But Cindy, were you a Wayne Calls the Heart fan or combo?
I knew about it and I had watched some earlier episodes, but I didn't start watching regularly until season 6 when I saw Chris.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Cutie
So.
patootie that is. And Nikki, how did you come to be a Chris McNally fan?
I actually was a fan. I had seen him in some of his earlier movies and thought he was just a cutie patootie. And then Sweetest Heart came on and I thought, oh, wow, that one was really good. And so I kind of started watching him. And I had watched When Calls the Heart.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was curious what they were going to do after Jack died. Well, then when they announced these two guys were coming on and Chris was one of them, I thought, oh, thank you, Lord. So that's when I really started watching. And I think I joined the Chris McNally fan page like a week or two after it was set up. And
That's
there's
nice.
just something about him that, he just draws you in.
Yeah, he has a good vibe, right? He exudes charm and warmth and authenticity. Like he is not fake. You can tell when somebody's faking it, and
Right.
he absolutely. I mean, if he is faking it, then you know what? He needs an Oscar.
He's a darn good actor. And just so you know, I say in most of my posts, I'm from Central Iowa, just north of Des Moines, the town that he grew up in Sailing into Love, which makes me laugh because he's a Navy man and there's not an ocean close to us anywhere, 3 rivers. But I'm only 3 hours from Kansas City. It was a 3-hour trip right down the interstate for me. So that part was a no-brainer.
Now, Cindy, I forgot to ask you, where do you hail from?
I'm from Rochester, New York. So I flew and I was supposed to get to Kansas City around 4:30 in the afternoon. And, well, that didn't happen. I didn't get in until, I don't know, Nikki, what time was it when I woke you up? 1 in the morning?
Oh, Lord, it was like, wasn't it after midnight?
Oh, yeah. Well, it was almost 1 o'clock, I think. My plane was delayed, so I missed my connecting flight. So I had to go. I had to go to Denver, Colorado, and then from Denver to Kansas City. So it was a long day, let me tell you, but well worth it. Well worth it.
That's a good thing. Okay, you made it.
I made it.
All right. So I wanted to first, I know people. I see people already in here. They want to go next year. They want to go, and this was not just the Chris McNally show. There were each weekend they had different clusters of people. And this happened to be the weekend for the series. So it wasn't, yeah, it was, yes, nice. It wasn't just When Calls the Heart. It was also Chesapeake Shores was on there, as well as The Way Home, which was nice. So,
and they had one gal from the, they'd find the lost letters. It's a
Signed, sealed, delivered.
Signed, sealed, and delivered.
That's it. Yes, which is another series.
Signed, sealed, delivered.
Yeah, I like
Crystal Love. Yeah.
Yes. Oh, I like how they put this series like that together. That was smart of them. Yeah. But I think that they have enough fan base for all 4 of them to have their own weekends, but there's only so many weekends, and this was their first time. So I want to share with everyone, and then we'll answer questions and look at everything. I wanted to share some of the things that girls, I don't want to remove. I wanted to add it. Why does it say remove? Why can't I add it? That's so weird. Why does it tell me to remove and I don't want to remove? Add. Here we go. Okay. Sorry, I had a technical issue. So
there we go.
These are some of the things, Nikki, I think you sent me. And is this your badge that you received?
That was, yeah, we got a lanyard and whatever. There was 2 packages that you could buy, Find the Magic or the Be Merry. And Find the Magic was the top package, the most expensive, and you got the most stuff with it.
And that package was the price they had posted was $7.99, but you said yours was $7.91.
It was $7.91. I rounded it to $7.92. $792.
Okay. And that included only certain things. Tell us exactly, and anybody could jump in. Cindy and Martha, you could jump in. What exactly did that include?
Well, it included a reindeer games on Friday or Saturday. You got a schedule and you got to choose the day that you wanted to go. So you got a reindeer games, you got a look behind the lens, you got a group photo op, and then you got a ticket to do the light walk, which was over in the plaza. And you also got they had crafty things set up to do, but we didn't do any of those.
Gotcha. Now, I know that you said that you wanted to go to another reindeer game, but that cost, how much was that? $75?
No, it was $100.
$100.
And we had to, Cindy laughed at me because they said it was sold out, but I begged and cried and pleaded, and she amazingly found me one.
She did. And can we talk about, like, Cindy, Martha, did we forget anything that was included? Because no meals were included, correct?
No meals or hotel accommodations. You had to pay.
You got a voucher for a free non-alcoholic drink or popcorn.
Yeah.
And then you got a Balsam Hill coupon. This, art thingy here that I'm holding up. That was about it. And you got, well, I don't know if you mentioned, Nikki, when people were lining up for the different events, the Be Merry people, or Find Magic, sorry, got to line up first in some events. So
they lined us up in a special line.
Yeah.
And we got first entrance into the ballroom.
Right.
Yeah.
So we were able, and everybody else, if you were Be Merry or just had a ticket to that event, they started lining you. There was an escalator that went to where that Christmas tree picture was, and then on up to where the ballroom is. Excuse me. But they held all those people down stairs and would not let them up until all of the Find the Magic people had been seated.
Which was really nice. It was very well organized, organized, and it was amazing.
Good.
Yeah, and I have to say the security staff and all of the Hallmark folks that were helping out
and the
were extremely friendly and helpful.
Oh yeah, they were awesome.
They were great. I mean, we even got to know some of them on a first name basis because you saw them all the time, and they couldn't have been nicer or more helpful.
It was very hospitable. Very hospitable.
They were.
All right,
it felt like you belonged there. They treated you like that.
That's nice.
It was very nice.
Yeah. That's not always the experience sometimes. So I wanted to talk about hotel accommodations. So how I had talked to Nikki earlier, there's more than one hotel to stay in, correct?
Yes. There's a Sheraton across the plaza.
Yeah.
And then there's other surrounding areas, there's hotels.
And you would have to drive if you stayed in the other surrounding hotels.
Well, the Sheraton, you can walk to the Sheraton.
You can walk to the Sheraton. And how long of a walk would that be?
Oh, boy. I don't know.
I would say 5 minutes.
Yeah.
It was close.
Not that far.
That's wonderful. Okay. So now, what were the prices for those rooms?
Expensive.
They were expensive.
Yeah, they were. I don't know. Nikki and I bunked together, so we split a room.
So didn't Chuck and I. We split a room too.
So when I looked into the prices, it depended, and the closer it got to the weekend that it was there, the last weekend was like $800 a night for one of the rooms. And but prior to that was only like 125 on off season, which I thought was like crazy. But I know that
hang on. Yeah, I'm sorry. Roxanne, I wonder if you're thinking of, they had some rooms, and I don't know how many, I don't know there were very many, that were special, and that they Hallmark decorated. There was a tree in there, and you got a swag bag. Because
No,
I
I
talked to
wasn't.
some woman who actually, she and her husband got one of those rooms, and those were like 800 a night.
Right. No, it wasn't talking about those. Chris
okay.
and I had looked into it. Like as soon as I knew that this was happening, we went in and looked at the whole platform of it. But I know that for your weekend, the rate was like in the 400s, I think.
Yes.
Not
it
every
was
day.
about it was about 350 to 400.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But to be honest with you, it was, if you can afford it, it's well worth it, because you're in the moment and you're with everybody and you're close to everything.
Yeah.
Right, Nikki and Cindy? You're close to everything.
Right.
That was
girls,
let me direct, and then it'll be easier that way so we don't talk over each other. So that was my next question, because people have been asking this. So when you went from your hotel to the facility where everything was held, how long of a walk was that?
5 minutes.
Good. Okay. So it's 5 minutes, which is good.
It was all right. It was all mostly held in conference rooms and the ballroom on like the second floor of the hotel.
Yeah.
Right. How are the accommodations for people who are disabled?
Good. They have elevators and things that they can take up to the floors, and they're real good there about that.
That's good. Okay, good. Now, is there, Martha, anything we left out about like the accommodations, what was offered that you wanted to share? And then I'll ask the other girls. Did we forget anything before we get into the good stuff?
Well, do you want me to just tell you one story I have?
Sure.
Is that when Chuck and I got there, we got the 17th floor. But the next day, they came to us at the end of the day and said, you have to move. And when Chuck and I are looking at, why? Because the cast and all the people are going to stay on the 17th floor. You have to move up to the 18th floor. But we want to stay on the 17th floor. So we had to change floors. So it was kind of funny.
That's cool. I like that story.
It was pretty neat.
Did you try to get back onto the 17th floor?
Oh yeah, we'd go up and down that. We'd go up and down the elevator, and I said, push 17, and the door would wide open, and Chuck would step out and go, get back here, you're on the wrong floor.
That's so cute.
We were trying to be, sneaky.
I love it. And Nikki, is there anything that you remember that we didn't cover about the accommodations in the stay?
Well, I just was going to tell you here, I went in on Thursday night and the room was 205.
Okay.
And then on Friday and Saturday, it went to 408. And then Sunday, it was 254.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, of course, there's state tax and everything on that.
Nikki, did you tell me that you got that rate was a little different though, because are you a member of the chain of hotels?
Well, and I did, because it's the Marriott Bonvoy Club.
Right.
Because you can join for free. And I was. Now, I don't know, I didn't ask her what the regular rates were. So I just kind of figured that's about what it would be. I'm just glad there wasn't a Kansas City Chiefs game that weekend, because it might have been even worse.
I'm sure they thought about all of that. I don't know.
Well, another thing, they charged for your parking, but the parking was underneath, and it was $25 a night.
Okay.
It was $25, but to do the valet parking
No.
was only $35 a night. So it was only $10 more a night to do valet. So I did valet because I wasn't carrying all my bags and stuff in and out of the hotel. And to me, that was well worth it.
Gotcha.
I left the car right out front. I took both sets of keys and I gave them my spare set, and they gave me a number and they took my car. And when I left, they called for my car and it was sitting out in front of the hotel running.
Wonderful. Martha, did you want to add to that?
No, just that we got free parking because we had to change floors.
Nice. Well, good.
They did give us a freebie there.
All right. I love that. Now, Cindy, you flew in, and where or did you have to take a taxi? Well, I call it a jitney because I'm from Jersey Shore. But like, what did you have to take to get in?
The airport in Kansas City is about a good half hour from the city. It's north of Kansas City. So when I got in, I found a taxi right away. That wasn't a problem. And I paid, it was a good $50 to get to the hotel. And same thing when I left Monday morning. One of the bellman got me a taxi, and again it was about a half an hour to the airport. So that was probably my biggest expense, was just paying for the taxi. But yeah, so
yeah. Now, something about, I know that food wasn't included, but I know that there was there are places within the hotel to eat, right? And then there's places around in that little area.
Yeah, right. And what surprised me was that, yeah, there were several restaurants right in the Crown Plaza, right in the hotel. But they closed up fairly early, and this was Friday and Saturday night, and a lot of places closed at 8.
Yes.
Which was surprising. So a couple of nights, Nikki and I were looking for a place to eat, and some of them had already closed. But we did find some places to eat right there, and everything I got was really good. But yeah, and there were places outside of the hotel. Kansas City's famous for barbecue, so there were a lot of barbecue restaurants. But we stayed in the hotel and went to restaurants right there.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. So everything you needed basically was right there, which is nice.
Yeah.
I'm 30 minutes away from Atlantic City, where all the casinos are, and that's what I'm used to. If you stay in the hotel and everything's at your fingertips, you don't even really have to go out. Well, you don't. If you're ever coming this way, you never want to go to outside of Atlantic City because it's dangerous. Okay. It's like the #1 dangerous city in the US. But the hotel experience and staying right there is okay. That's why I was thinking it sounds very much similar. And I think Jan, who's from this area, she kind of, look, I keep thinking that it reminds me of AC. Yeah. Yeah. All right. So that's lovely. Thank you for that information, because it wasn't really clear. People were not sure what would the photo op be. Like, is it a group shot? Or was it individual? And you just told us that it was a group shot, right? But they allowed certain people to stand out next to, which we'll get into.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. So girls, can we move on with the experience of the reindeer games and the panels and all of that? Are we ready to do that?
Sure.
Yes. Does anybody need a break?
No. Oh, just one other thing. I have one thing.
Go ahead, Martha.
If you really love Hallmark a lot, there's an awesome self-tour that you take of how Hallmark came to be and how he started off. And it's really, really nice. It's a beautiful, beautiful tour.
No, that would be me. And I do know how Hallmark started, actually. Yeah. So I did years ago, because I've been a Hallmark girl since I was a baby. And it was one of my research reports that I had to do. So I do know the story and all that. So I would love that. Thank you, Martha. I didn't even think of that.
Well, Roxanne, all of the plaza across from the Westin is the Hallmark Plaza, but all of the Hallmark corporate buildings are right there.
Yes,
Right.
nice.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
it's all within walking distance,
Yeah,
and they would let you tour some of them, not up into the offices, but they let you tour some of the floors, and they had the Hallmark Museum and all of that good stuff was really right there.
Yeah,
Nice.
it's an amazing place. It really is.
I'm going to add, we got a lot going on this screen. I'm going to add this because it kind of goes with what we're talking about. And then we're going to get to the juicy, fun stuff. So Arlene wrote, Kevin Smith said in an interview, and that's true, I heard this, he and his castmates loved the experience, except they included meals like chicken and rice pilaf with every meal until they mentioned KC barbecue.
Oh, I had heard that.
I know. All right. Okay, so Martha, tell us about this. This I don't think is a panel. I think this was like an extra bonus here.
This was well, I'm kind of one of those that likes to seek out things. So we went up to I said, we're going up to where the ballrooms are, and we were just hanging out because they had a VIP lounge up there for the VIP tickets. So we went up there, and I was standing there, and another friend of mine was there. She yelled over and said, Brandon Penny was there. And then all of a sudden I saw Chris, and I ran out and I go, Chris. And he stopped, he turned around. I says, I have a gift for you. And he came over. I got him, I had bought a little part at one of the stores before I even made contact with him. And I told Chuck, I says, I'm going to get him this. If I get a chance to give it to him, I'm going to give it to him. And not even an hour later, he comes out of this doorway, and oh my gosh, wow. And I got to give it to him. I says, can I have a hug? He says, sure you can. He gave me a hug, and he was just as sweet as he could be. Great guy.
Rona says, oh, Martha, and I can hear Rona's voice because Rona and I, we're friends. We've met. Oh, Martha, you lucky, lucky girl.
He kept saying, he kept saying to me, he says, I like your hat. I like your hat. The Santa hat I had Chris put on it. And he kept saying, I like your hat. I should have got him one. I never thought to, but he wasn't getting that one. That's for sure.
I love that. Now, I think there's another story that goes along with this, right, Nikki?
Yes, there is. The picture of Chris. I was standing across the door waiting to get into reindeer games, because when you go to these events, even though you get first admission, you have to stand in line. And it was sometimes an hour. I know this time it was an hour and a half I was up there, and other times, like for the panel, it was like two hours, because you want to get to the front of the line. Well, I was standing in line. I was about number 10. And I happened to be right across from the room where they were taking the pictures, the photo op room. And they got done. And so the stars slowly started filtering out. And by the way, every one of those stars had their own personal bodyguard that was with them 24/7. They even sat in chairs in the hallways of the floor they were on. So anyway, the stars started coming out. Well, they opened the door a little bit, and I snuck over, and I saw Chris was still in there. And so I thought, I'm just going to stand here. So I did. And when he came out, I hollered at him. I said, Chris, and I had my Chris McNally fan group shirt on, which is right here. Because he signed it. I don't know if you can see it.
We have a good close-up of it for later.
Right.
Yeah.
And so he turned around, and I kind of just ran my hand over the thing, and he came over, and he said, hello, how are you? And he gave me a hug, and I thought, oh, can I just stay here? But then I asked him, I said, I know you're busy, but would it be possible to talk to you after reindeer games? I said, I have a couple things that I'd like to ask you. And he said, absolutely, come and find me.
Mm-hmm.
And so I did.
I love it.
And he gave me another hug before he left, and then he walked off.
All right, now hold that thought, because I've got poor Cindy's face covered up by Kathy Murphy's comment, and she says, "Wow, Martha, that must have been such an experience for you." So, Cindy, did you get to hug Chris also?
Who?
Cindy. Did you get to hug
Cindy
Chris?
was in the bathroom when all this happened.
Yeah, that's why I didn't get a picture of the hug, because
you never go to the bathroom and
was not there.
Yeah.
I missed the whole thing,
Oh
but
my
it's
gosh.
okay, because after reindeer games, Nikki and I sought him out, and that was quite an experience. So.
All right, so before we go any further, everyone wants to know this. So they want to know, which is, they tune into this stuff. If he was listening to this, I'm telling you, your girls' faces, including mine, are going to be in some book that says, be careful, be careful. No, I'm only kidding. So, what does Chris smell like? I heard he smells delicious.
Oh, he smelled wonderful.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell. I didn't get any smell from him.
No.
I don't know.
Yeah, but you were getting sick, so your nose was probably plugged up.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, okay.
He smelled really good.
And I know that you had wanted to ask him what cologne he wore, but so you could buy it for your husband's, or somebody had said that, but nobody did. So
nobody did. No.
When I see him, I'll ask.
You need
I will tell you that he dresses so sharply.
Oh, yeah.
This outfit
really
had on looked so hot on him.
He
no matter what he had on, he looked great.
This here is one of my favorite designers. It's an English designer. It's so, and I'm like, I know what he has on. I loved it. And that jacket, it's funny because that jacket,
it looks so nice on him.
Just went on sale, and the sale price is outrageous. And I'm thinking everybody that bought this is probably mad because it went on sale for a quarter of what it cost, and it's expensive.
Well, when we went after reindeer games was over, I told Cindy, I said, we need to try and go find Chris. So, because they had all left the stage, and I was thinking, I hope they aren't gone. So we walked down to where the end of the curtain was, and of course there was all kinds of security, and we walked down there, and the security guy, who we got to know really well, he's probably got our face in the book too, but we walked down there, and he says, I'm sorry you can't go back there. And I said, no, I know we can't, but we're supposed to meet Chris. And he says, just a minute, I'll go get him. So they were all still backstage. So he went and got Chris, and Chris came out and said hello to us, and we talked to him and told him all about the fan group and the fan pages and the donation to Railtown, and I told him, I said, we also have a Lucas Bouchard fan fiction page on Facebook, and I said, there are some really good stories out there, and I said, there's some excellent writers out there that are writing these. You need to hire them for When Calls the Heart. And he started laughing, and then we talked about just other little things, and then I think Cindy, you and I both gave him ideas for restaurants that we'd found, and one of them that I found was very close. I don't know if they went, but it was a seafood restaurant, which he likes. He's really not a red meat eater, but it also played jazz. So I gave him that address and told him, and then we talked about some other things, and then we asked if he would. I had a notepad and a pen, and we asked if he would write a note to Christina, who was the admin for his Facebook page, and because she couldn't be there, and he said absolutely, and he took it, and he went backstage to a table and actually sat and wrote a nice note to her. And of course he signed hats and shirts, and
Yeah. She was very
gave
nice
lots
about
of hugs.
Oh, and Roxanne, shout out to you. I don't remember everything I said to him because I was and
Yeah.
so but I did mention something about we were representing the fan group, and I don't know how I mentioned it, but I something about when you did an interview on with Roxanne on her podcast, and he said, "Oh yes, she's lovely." So I
Yes,
just wanted to pass that on.
That's
he did
nice.
say that, and we
And
did
Awesome.
I don't know if you can see that, but
right, and we
I
did
see it.
tell him that we needed him to do another interview with you,
maybe that was
podcast,
it. But anyway,
and
yeah.
and he said I'm ready anytime. Just have her contact me.
Woo.
That's nice. Nice to hear.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That would be fun. That would
But
be a
we
lot
did.
of fun.
I mean, it sounds like we did talk a lot. We were probably there with him. What, at least 5, maybe 10 minutes.
Yeah, and all these other people, because they were trying to hustle people out of the ballroom. So there were all these people hanging around, and they're watching us get our picture taken with him and getting autographs and talking to him. So they're all standing around like they're gonna get to talk to him too, but they're hustling all these people out. And some rude woman, what did she yell? Yeah, when we were getting our picture taken with him, something about move along or long enough or something. I'm like,
I can't remember, but
oh yeah, there was some lady.
we
And,
had a special mission, and I think he knew that. He understood who
yeah,
we were.
and we were able to stay.
And we finally told him, when after we'd been a while, I said, well, I know you're busy. I know that you've got to go, so we won't keep you. But I said, hopefully we'll get a chance to talk to you more.
Yeah.
This weekend. So, and we did.
So, Martha, can you tell me, is this the reindeer games, what we're looking at up here?
This, they
This
did,
was the panel.
They were, was it the reindeer games that was at?
No, this was the panel, the When Calls the Heart panel with the 6 vectors on Sunday.
Well, Pascal got up and she was going to teach everybody how to do the Charleston. So they had some people from the audience get up and get up there and do it, right? And with her, and then they said, well, maybe we should have some more people come up or something like that. And Chris got up and I was like, me. I looked at him, he looked at me, and I said, please. And he says, come on up. So I got up there and we learned how to do, well, I knew how to do the Charleston. I learned that way back when, but yeah, it was awesome. I can't express that. It was a wonderful, wonderful experience. I'm so lucky and I'm so grateful that I was able to do what I did and be able to represent the Chris McNally fan group. And I told him that we love him and we support him. So he knows how much we love him. So it was an awesome experience. That's all I can say.
I love that. I have a question for all of you. So, well, not a question yet. First of all, of course, it was Chris and Pascal and Erin and Lee and Kevin and from and I meant to say I didn't mean to say Lee. I meant to say Viv. They represented When Calls the Heart. And then it was Kyler and Andy for The Way Home, correct? They were the only two from there. And then it was Brendan Penny. And who else for Chesapeake Shores? Just him?
Just him.
And then I forgot who it was. Catherine.
Crystal Lowe.
That's it, for Signed, Sealed, Delivered. All right. So they were all there as well. Did they interact with, did they get up and dance or?
No.
No.
They were all together, all 10 and except for the Way Home girls, but the rest of them all participated in the reindeer games.
Right.
But this particular one, there was also a When Calls the Heart
Panel.
They called it Stars on Stage, but it was the panel. And that was just the 6 When Calls the Heart. And this happened to be Sunday. I can tell because Chris looked extremely good that day.
Oh, yeah.
And they also had reindeer games on Friday and Saturday. And I went to both events, and Cindy did too. And then we had the When Calls the Heart panel, and that was Saturday and Sunday. And those tickets were not included in the Find Magic package. You had to buy those separately.
Separate. Okay, that's good to know that, because I was thinking that because we didn't bring that up. So if people were going and you were a fan of both, you would have to like try to buy both and figure out like how it was scheduled. Were you able to be a fan of both and go to both, or were they happening at the same time?
No. They
Cool.
they were all separate because like the reindeer games, the Behind the Lens, which was included, that panel was the 2 Way Home girls and Kevin and Aaron and Kevin.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then it was moderated by Crystal Lowe.
Well, she was fun. She was good.
And I only went to one of those.
Yeah.
But I had purchased one When Calls the Heart panel. And then because they offered them to the Find Magic people first. And then when they went on sale to the general public, I bought the other one because I wanted to go both days.
Okay.
And then I also bought the extra ticket to the reindeer games.
And were the days different?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, good.
Yes.
Okay, different stuff. Okay, this is all good to know. How much were those tickets, Nikki?
The panel tickets were $75, and when you got tax and everything added, I think they were $86, almost $87 each. So I had 2 of those, and then I paid $100 for the extra reindeer games ticket.
Okay. All right, cool. Okay.
Another thing too, that if you had the Find the Magic or the Be Merry package, there was the screening of episode 1, and that was free.
And you had to sign your life away.
If you had one of those 2 packages.
Right.
Just no phones. And I didn't go to that because Martha and I were standing in line to get into the reindeer games. Oh no, the panel, which was right after that.
I went to the screening. Yeah.
So Cindy went to the screening and Martha's husband went to the screening so they could come out and tell. And I thought, it's going to be on in like 3 weeks. And Cindy can tell me. So she did.
Yeah.
But they had people, from what I understand, I don't know if this is right, Cindy, but did they have people kind of monitoring the aisles to make sure no one had their phones out?
Yeah, they had heavy security during that screening. They were walking up and down the aisles, making sure that no one had their phone out.
Cool. Now,
and right before that, though, right before the screening, before they started showing it, the cast did come out on stage, and they just talked a little bit about, kind of what was in store for their character this season. So that was nice, so we got, I got to see them. And then they did the screening. Yeah, but it was, you couldn't take a picture of anything. And, but I'm sure people went out of there and told,
Now, but my question, wasn't a question. This is a group photo, and that's what they were. They weren't individual photos, right? They were group photos. Okay.
Right.
And you had to wait in a line for this.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
But what were we? We were 2, 3, and 4 in line, and we all had our Mary McNally shirts on.
Oh,
yes,
that's cool.
I'm wearing mine, and I don't know if you can see, but
I can.
This is where Chris signed it.
Oh, yeah.
I love it.
Mine are all hanging on the wall up here.
All right. Now, I'm not going to put this up because I always hide poor Cindy's face, but Christine, Chris
It's okay.
he
It's
says,
okay. It's
sounds
okay.
like a lot of extras you would have to get on scene. So take hundreds of dollars extra.
Well,
No,
one
you
thing
don't.
I was just going to say that the nice thing about it is before you went up, they took your camera, your cell phone, and they took pictures with your phone for the
Yeah.
pictures. We didn't have to pay extra for pictures.
No, that's not what Chris means. What Chris, that's nice though. That's nice to know that.
Yeah.
Chris is talking about, she's saying that you had to pay extra if you wanted to get into one of the panels or if you
Oh,
wanted to
yeah,
get into,
right.
That's the stuff
Yeah.
she's talking
Right.
about.
You did, but because I had the fine magic package, I got notifications ahead of everybody. So if I wanted to buy the extra tickets, I could do it right then and just pay for it, and then they sent them to me.
It's still what her point though is. I know, her
there is extra,
yeah.
And that's one of the suggestions I'm going to send down to them is that if you buy that top package, you should get at least one panel discussion.
Yes.
And just as a side note, there was a panel discussion set up for the way home, but they canceled it. Like 2 or 3 weeks before the event. And I'm not sure why, but they did.
Okay. Lauren is here, and I'm going to put her thing up. Lauren says, this photo melts my heart. So happy you were able to bring Minnie Lucas along, Martha. So entirely precious.
Yep. He's here.
Minnie Lucas was a big hit. He was a big hit.
Yep, there he is. He's here too in her interview. I mean, in our chat. There he is.
Chris signed him. Chris signed him on the arm. He was real nice about that. He signed it.
Oh. So this is cute. This is all him looking sharp. I wanted to make a comment about this. So there was a fan who was on the official site, like the official When Calls the Heart site, and she made a comment about what a sharp dresser that Chris is. He seemed to be more sharply dressed than anyone else. It got flagged and removed.
You're kidding.
Because it was an insult that no one else was dressed nice. Like she said, some people were in jeans. We know who that, you know what I mean? So this is funny. I love it.
Jeans and well, the first photo op, but Viv looked nice all weekend and Pascal looked good all weekend. Erin, the pants she had on wrinkled terribly.
Oh, yeah.
Because she was sitting, and then when she'd go to stand up, they would wrinkle. There's our guy.
Yeah.
I love their coats. So they're outside? Is this outside?
This is the tree lighting. They had tree lightings every night in the plaza, the big Christmas tree. And members of the cast, and I think Friday night, it might have been just Pascal and Viv Leacock. And then Saturday night, I think more of them came out, but it was cold. And so Erin and
it was cold.
I think the way home gals didn't go out then. And then Sunday night, everybody went out.
Yeah.
But they brought them around. They had the big platform and they stood up there and talked to people. And then they did the countdown and they pushed the lever and they lit up the tree.
Oh, that's nice. So how long were they out there? What do you think? 20 minutes, a half hour, an hour?
Oh, the actual tree lighting, maybe 15, 20 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But then it seemed to be more of the guys. Pascal did a little bit more. Erin didn't do much, but they actually would come down and then walk through the crowd and the people in the plaza and take selfies and talk to them. And one lady posted a picture of Chris kneeling down. He had squatted down because she had brought her 4-year-old grandson, and the grandson started asking Chris questions. And so he knelt down so he could be eye level with this little boy. And the grandma said he must have talked to him for 4 or 5 minutes answering all of his questions. And she took a picture of it and posted it on the Experience website.
Yeah.
But the guys did that. They walked around and talked to people and took selfies. And the stars were very accessible.
Yeah.
Very accessible.
Yeah. Very nice. It was very nice.
That's just another one of, now there's Chris in casual wear and he looks so sharp, but we know he's a clothes guy. We get that from Barbara. He's very much into clothes and whatnot.
This is from Reindeer Games on
Friday.
What were the Reindeer Games? What was that? What was that like?
Oh, they were like Family Feud or trivia or Never Have I Ever.
Never Have I Ever. Except I'm starring in a Hallmark movie and I'm taking an A, apple, B, bandana, C, and they went from 1 to 1 and just kept.
You had to repeat what the people before you said.
And they introduced on Saturday or on Friday's Reindeer Games, they brought out the new Mr. Christmas.
Yeah. Ezra.
They introduced him. And then
hold on, Nikki. Listen, he was I knew from that he was winning, and I'm excited. I want to have him on. But here's the thing: couldn't he and Chris play like brothers? Yes.
I don't know. There was one.
I don't know.
I know. It's in one of the videos that we posted. I think it was a Sunday video, and Aaron was talking about. The lady asked, has there been any funny moments? And Erin was talking about when there was a rat. When she first moved there was a rat in the teacherage that she burnt down. Well, evidently her and Kevin, well, she didn't know who. She was on the porch with someone doing a scene and across the road ran a rat. So she yells, rat, rat, rat. But the whole time she's trying to explain this, she's looking at Kevin. And he gives her a funny look and she goes, it was you, wasn't it? And then she sits back and looks down and they both turn around and look at Chris and Chris says, I don't know. It could have been me. And Pascal's in the background going, well, they are interchangeable. And she's talking about Chris and Kevin. She says, they are interchangeable. So who knows who it was?
Oh, I was talking about Ezra. Ezra could play. Ezra could play Chris's like brother. They could be brothers in a show or a movie rather. That's what I was talking about.
Okay.
Well, there was one thing at the Reindeer Games where they played was it like Family Feud type of thing where Aaron and Chris got up there. That was funny.
That was funny.
That was hysterical. Oh, that was awesome.
That video's been posted on his website.
That video is out there,
But I love that video.
Chris is ready to play. He's got his hand over the button. And Erin doesn't have her hand anywhere near the button. She's holding her microphone facing the audience. It's like she's not even going to answer the question. And of course, Chris gets it right away. And that's when he does that.
That was so funny.
That's cute.
He made a comment though when let's see, it was the Friday Reindeer Games and they were doing the Never Have I Ever, and he had one finger left up, and the question was, have you ever fallen in love with a school teacher? And he put his finger down and he says, I'm out of here. But then he made a comment right after that cracked everybody up. But I can't understand what he said. But it must have been good because Pascal lost it after he said it. So
that's cool.
I'd have to go back and look.
Well, I have rewatched that many, many times and turned the sound up, and I'm going, what is he saying?
Rona says, I saw the video. It was great. Chris won. But someone, what was up here? I was going to share, and I missed what it was. Were there people? Okay, Jan, your question, I want to address Jan's question, but not now. Jan has a question about other fans. We're going to get to the end of that, Jan, and that's a good question, which has a lead into me that I'm going to make myself anew. People are talking to each other, which is great. This is your signed shirt and hat, right, Nikki?
Yes, it is.
I love it. And you've got your Mary McNally on with the hashtag here, right?
Got my Mary McNally on, and then I had one made. It says, I don't know if you can see it. I don't know if I can get it down. But a lot of the shirts I have, the one I have on now says Chris McNally, Simply Irresistible. And I had that one, and then I had Mary McNally's, and then hold on. This is the one that I wore. I don't know if you can see it, but it says, Lucas Bouchard, forever our King of Hearts.
That's nice.
And that's the shirt I had on Sunday when we were in the front row, sitting directly in front of Chris while he was on the panel. So I know he saw it I know he did because we talked to him afterwards.
Okay. Someone is saying, were any of the events recorded to be made for a video to purchase?
I don't know. And
Ooh.
the media guy that I was talking to you about,
he
got out of there quick. But that would be a question for Hallmark, the Christmas experience.
Yeah.
That would be cool. Martha,
That
you
would be cool.
worked up. You like that idea.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
Who is Kathy 1883? Does anybody know?
Where is this? Kathy 1883. She's always here. Yes. What is it?
Because she made a comment that said, I would pay $8,000 to meet Kevin for sure.
Okay, I would pay. Here she is. Hey, Kathy. I would pay $8,000 to meet Kevin for sure. Listen, Kathy, if you didn't go, we're going to address some really cool stuff that will make you want to go next time. We're going to talk about Kevin and his McGarry's in the end. I have some info to share with you, but cool. We get it. I think some people did pay almost that to go, depending upon where you were flying from, right? If you had to fly in, some people were out of the country. So by the time they went and did all of that, but you know what? Everybody has different things that make them excited and happy. And I had a friend who was going to Italy, and she spent a lot of money, and she's in her early 70s. And she said, you know what? I'm considering this a once in a lifetime. So I'm staying. She stayed for over 2 weeks, and she was prepared to ship things home if she had to. That's your mindset. If it's what you want, then that's what's important. I know people in my own family that pay $4,000 for a purse. So, a purse. I'm not lying. No, I don't have a $4,000. I don't buy $4,000 purses. They've been bought for me, but I'm just saying. So go ahead, Martha. What were you going to say?
Yeah, I was just going to say that I didn't watch The Way Home when I was there. Okay, I hadn't watched it yet, and I got to. Shyler is quite an amazing person. I mean, she had quite a nice. Well, it was a hard story for her to tell about her mother. Aww. And she started crying. I mean, it was quite interesting session, but she got to me somehow. I don't know, but I went up to the stage because we were in the front row. I went over to the stage and I yelled to her. I said, Shyler, and she came right over to me, and I says, because I used to watch her on Supergirl when she was on Supergirl. And she kneeled down and she talked to me, and I said, I haven't watched The Way Home. She says, oh, you should. And we talked a little bit, and I said, well, thanks for talking and all that, right? So this weekend, Chuck and I binge watched the whole series so far, and I'm so hooked on it. It's a beautiful, beautiful show, and I recommend it to anybody.
Yes, and I have a fan page for it. I'm not alone. Chris and Christina, who also are the admins for Chris McNally's fan page, are right there with me, along with Kathy Watkins. And we have a podcast that's hooked up to it. And we have they have an amazing publicist that just gives, puts out all kinds of wonderful things. So it's really a good time. It's a good page. It's a wonderful show. I can't say enough. So yes, Rona's saying The Way Home is fantastic. Rona's actually a moderator for that page. We have, if you're going to join, we have there's more than one, and it looks very similar, but ours has 22 plus K, like 22,000 plus members. So hop on if you're excited. Join. We would
what's the name of it, Roxanne?
The Way Home fan page.
Oh, okay.
But there's one that has a similar name. And this one, if you look, it was established January 14th, the day before it premiered. And also it's 22 plus, I forget what it is, 22,000 and something 600 or whatever members. That's how you could see, because I think the other one has a little less.
So it's the Way Home fan page?
The Way Home fan page. Okay. Yes. Martha, I can send the link in our chat that we have. When we're done, I'll send it to you. Okay? On Facebook. So then you don't have to go seek it out. So what do we want to talk about this? There's Nikki. Who's this with you, Nikki? Who's this person right here? Who's this in the red? I know.
That's Cindy.
I know it is.
Chris.
She's not saying anything. Look at her face. I think you blanked out for a second.
This is when he stepped out, because he was talking to us for quite a while. And we were talking about a lot of things, and we kept telling him that his fans loved and adored him, and we would support him in whatever he chose to do. And so he spent quite a bit of time with us. Well, then we wanted a picture, and I think it's when we were taking this picture that woman yelled, "Move along, move along."
You know what, Nikki? She's like, where are those women? Where are they? I'm getting ahead of them or in front of them. Where are they?
Well, and it was right after this, then I think he signed one more thing, and then his security person came and got him, because he left. So he was supposed to be at lunch or something. So we got it all. We got every bit of it.
We got it.
Oh gosh. So
and I tell you, he is the best hugger. And he likes to hug, and when you're close to him, he's puts his arm around you. Or like when we were taking my picture, when I was standing there trying to explain, we wanted to say Merry Christmas to Christina. The whole time I'm standing there, he's holding my hand.
Yes, that's why Nikki no longer has hands. They're in a frame behind her. He's framed those too.
That's right. It's just like, ooh. Do I really want to wash this?
Oh, gosh. Now, Cindy, look at your face. It's not a bad face. You're beautiful. But
I take a terrible picture.
No, I don't mean it that way. So your face reminds me, when I saw this picture, it reminds me of my students when they get like so excited and they're watching a show, because we usually sit down on the ground and we look up at the stage, and they got that look like, that's what that looks like.
My photo op pictures are better, thank goodness. But
it's so cute. I love it.
Yeah, it was neat because like Nikki said, we were among the first ones in line for the photo op, and they took the gal that took my camera took like numerous pictures. There's a whole bunch of pictures of my back anyway.
Wonderful.
And they not only took the pictures, but she said, "Do you want a video?" And I said, "Yeah." I said, "Could we do Merry Christmas, Cindy?" And they all said, "Merry Christmas, Cindy." And I have the video of it. And that's one of the most special things to me.
That's sweet. Yeah. I love it. So this is more of the photo op. That's the beautiful tree that you said was out there. Is this the tree that was lit each night? Is that the one?
No. This one was, if you were in the ballroom and you walked over to like the ledge and looked down,
right?
There's escalators from the ballroom floor that go down to this level. Right. And this was just another Christmas tree that was in, it's the candy cane tree. And if you look at it real close on the top, those are candy canes. And then there's another escalator then that went down into the lobby of the hotel. But I was going to say that picture of me and Chris there, this is when we were explaining how the Merry Christmas was going to go to Christina. He's holding my hand.
I see. That's why this is why you had your hands bronzed.
And I wasn't letting go either. I thought, if you want to hold my hand, sweetie, you can hold my hand.
I have to say, I've had the pleasure of meeting in person Erin. And Erin is way taller than she appears sometimes. And she's always beautifully dressed. And she is flawless. She's a beautiful woman. I loved this outfit. I was like, this is gorgeous. I loved the top. I loved the bottom. I mean, I love this. I was like, oh, she looks sharp. So it's funny because it's like she's fancy dressed up, and now some of them are more casual, and then sometimes one is more casual. I think there was no dress code. It was whatever they wanted to do, whatever made them feel comfortable.
Right.
I think so.
Yeah.
And just so you know, this photo op, they stood there taking pictures and smiling for 3 hours.
My gosh, these poor, and look at those girls. Some of those girls had some big heels on.
Yep.
Like, yeah. And what did they do? The person that you wanted, they let them come to the forefront to take the picture?
Yes. Yes.
If when you went in for your turn, of course they knew, because I heard one of them say, I think it was Kevin, in the background, Martha went and they saw her Mary McNally's. And then when I walked up, Kevin said, well, the next couple are going to be Chris. Look at their shirts.
Now, Kevin is funny. So I've had, the opportunity. I did a panel with him, and I was in a running text with Marita. Marita was the director of Feeling Butterflies, and she had all of us in this group text. Now, of course, I was like, oh my God, I can never touch this group text accidentally because they'll think I'm stalker or nuts, but I'm in this text, and they would say some dumb things to each other. He has a hilarious sense of humor. He really is, like, always cracking jokes. He's a funny guy, Kevin. So, did you get to see any of that little quirky kind of little?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The panel, when they did the Wind Calls the Heart panel, the 6 stars, they were on a roll. And Sunday especially, because I think by that time they were probably so tired that you get to the point where you're silly. And I mean, it was fantastic. I mean, and Chris and Kevin interacted quite a bit.
Yeah, they're good friends.
Right. But they did crack a lot of jokes back and forth.
The other, I think, and I don't mean just with this show or Hallmark, I'm talking about in general, Pascal is a stunning woman. I mean, she is.
Yes,
stunning.
yes.
Her hair, makeup,
yeah, she really is. She's so nice. She was so nice.
Her dress.
Yeah, she's a sweetheart.
And I love the friendship that she has with Kevin. Like, they crack me up. They're they're such friends that they just look at each other and they know each other's minds, which I love that. That it's fun to see that. I think that's what makes them such an amazing and dynamic character on screen as well.
And he's so funny too. He
is. He's great. He's great. Well, these are lovely, lovely photos. So here's some things I wanted to share. Nikki, I was talking to you, and this is Kath, or is it Kat? Who was it that I was saying? Kathy, I think you're going to love this info. Where is she? The one who said she'd pay $8,000 to see Kevin?
To see Kevin?
Was it Kathy? Is that? Yes, Kathy, 1883. So listen, Kathy, and friends in general, because we can all take a page from this, regardless of who is your favorite. The McGarrys, they always have been this way. And this is what I would tell our team too. When they would get together and have a tweet fest, their voice was heard around the world. Do you know what I mean? They are organized. So I understand, and I am not surprised. Of course, Sarah was there with Julie, and they actually had their same shirts that they all had together. They even did things together outside, all went together for dinner, correct? Right. So that is something that would be nice for anybody. If you're all like let's say Flomo is there. I don't know, but let's say it's Florence and Molly's peeps, Joanna and why her name just go right on my head, which is so terrible. What's Florence's real name? Why is my brain
Loretta Walsh.
Loretta. Okay. Let's say they're there and that's your teammates. You should organize, because then they see you when you unify. They all see you in the same shirts, and then you also get to see each other and talk to each other and go somewhere different or whatever. You need someone to be in charge of organizing the outside things, which we could definitely get together and do for next time for whoever wants to go. So
Absolutely.
Kathy, I don't know if I'm sure Kathy knows who Suspenders Unbuttoned is, but those girls, and they're not just the two, they have a lot of people from behind the scenes. They got themselves all together. So next time, if you've saved up your dollars, your $8,000 you said you'd be willing to spend, you can join them, because they did that, which I thought was amazing. Now, when you were sitting in the audience, were they all there sitting together with their shirts as one? They stand out?
No, because in all honesty, I saw a couple McGarry's
They didn't
shirts
wear
Yeah.
walking around, but I never saw any big, huge groups of
No,
them.
I didn't
And
either.
I never saw any of the buttons that
No.
they were wearing either.
So how did you know all about that? How did you know about
them. I didn't either.
I listened to the Suspenders Unbuttoned podcast that they
Mhm.
did. I know the day after they got back from Kansas City, because I had talked to both those ladies when we were waiting for the Reindeer games to start, because we were down front or in the second row on the aisle, and they were down front. And so I wanted to talk to them, and I said, I really enjoyed the interview you did with Chris. You need to do more with him. Didn't say anything about Kevin. Didn't say anything about the McGarrys. I just said, you need to do more with Chris. And she said, well, we're talking to him and we're trying to get something arranged. Now, I don't know what that means, but.
Yeah, I talked to them too, and told them that I really enjoyed the interview that they did with Chris. And they said, yeah, we love Chris. And so, yeah, they were extremely nice. Very, very nice.
I remember when I don't know if it was Julie or Sarah, because I forget which we were messaging. We weren't talking.
Sarah's
actually.
the little,
No, I know who both of them are.
Okay.
But what I was trying to say is I don't remember who said this, but they were saying they loved the interview with him because he was quite chatty. Like he was chatty, and he was all about sharing, and it was an enjoyable experience for them, which is a nice thing. So they were off campus. And do you think that Kevin McGarry made an appearance at their
No, because they had a dinner Thursday night early, and the stars did not get in. Pascal posted a picture of the 6 of them that had come from Vancouver, and it was like 11:30 at night, and she said we just landed at the hotel. So they weren't there yet. They were still flying.
So was Chris in that shot?
Yeah.
Yes.
Because he was out of the country. He was in Argentina.
No. This
He was in the
was
shot.
Thursday
night.
Yeah. He was coming there. His whole family was out of the country. They were not in Canada, nor were they in the US. So I wonder if he double backed or something.
Well, because they talk about that in one of the interviews about how they all get along, and they were all so excited, and they were at the airport, and they were lousy. They were terrible airplane passengers because they kept laughing and giggling and reaching over the seat to talk to each other and kidding about who had to sit next to Pascal. And so all 6 of them were on the same flights.
Cool. That's a cool thing. So that would be nice to organize, whenever whoever's going, if you talk to other people, reach out to each other, get yourselves together.
Well, and I've already thought about that. And we did something similar to that in 23 when we all went to the Hardy's family reunion. We got organized and we all wore the pink flower pins, or else, just because Chris noticed those. when he saw one and he said, "What are the pink flowers for?" And whoever he talked to said, "They're for you. We wanted to be able to recognize your fans."
Which is sweet. That's nice. It's good to be organized.
But we'll be smarter next time.
Right. And then the other thing is someone had messaged me, I don't know if it was yesterday or today, for those of you that don't fly. And this was interesting because I saw Jan, she was mentioning driving. It would be 19 hours for us straight through from this area. But someone had said, what if it was like a caravan kind of a thing, like where you picked up someone else and you carpooled and you met to the next and we all were going as one. And I thought that's a pretty cool idea. So we'll just have to reach out for those that can find the time and that they can go, which is lovely. Lillian says she still has her pink carnation. Kudos to you girls for wearing your shirts. You rock. That's Christina. And people are asking to join the Way Home fan page right now. Oh dear Lord, that's funny. Make sure you answer all the questions or we won't accept you. But the other thing that I wanted to ask was where was I? I have my little notes. Oh, I wanted to know about would you do it again, Martha?
Martha, in a heartbeat. I'm already planning. They said that they're gonna have Chuck went back in to take care of the bill. I was out in the car and he talked to a manager and they said they want to do this again. It was a big success and they were really looking forward to it, I guess. So we're there.
That's good.
I think we were lucky that we were weekend 3 because I think weekend 1 had a lot of bugs. Weekend 2 still had a lot of bugs, but not as many. By weekend 3, they listened to fans when we said, this is what you need to do to make it better. And by our weekend, they had implemented all of those changes already. Mm-hmm. So they were listening. So I think we were lucky that we were weekend 3. But I also think that there was a lady that sat by Cindy and I one time, and she had gone to weekend. Was it 1 or 2, Cindy? I can't remember.
2.
But she said
she'd gone to 2.
That she thought that weekend 2 was a little more lighthearted with the people attending. And we told her we thought that was because there was still quite a division between Lucas fans and Nathan fans for the series. And so there was a little more, I think it was a little, maybe not quite as relaxed feeling. I don't know, but she had mentioned something about, she thought that people were a little more intense for weekend 3 than they were for weekend 2.
Okay.
I did notice though when I watched the Suspenders Unbuttoned podcast, the number one question that popped up in their comments was, Chris McNally smells so good. Someone needs to find out what kind of cologne he wears so we can buy it for our husbands. And I thought, okay, that's funny that's the number one question. And I also heard a lot of women talking to each other and saying that they had never been Lucas fans, but after seeing Chris this weekend, they were definitely Lucas fans now.
Which is so weird because he's the man and that's a character, and that should be separated. But people are funny.
But Chris, he was on this weekend. He was just funny and personable and accommodating and patient and well dressed. And
I think that
go ahead, Cindy.
Just a feeling that I have, but I think he made a lot of new fans this weekend. Maybe people that weren't huge Chris McNally fans or maybe not huge Lucas fans. I think after this weekend that he gained a lot of fans again because he just, was so personable and so funny, and he received a really nice, ovation reaction at every time he was introduced. And so I think that he may have made a lot of new fans this weekend, which is nice.
Go ahead, Martha. Martha.
He looked very
Go ahead, Martha.
comfortable.
Hold on, Nikki. Go ahead, Martha. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, during the last day, Sunday, when he did the panel, they had him do some impressions, and he did impression
I
of
saw that. Yeah.
Peter DeLuise.
Yeah.
He did, and I went, Peter DeLuise, and Aaron goes, yes. So, but anyway, he did him awesome. Who else did he do?
That was
Nikki?
great.
Remember?
That was great.
Yeah. I saw
Oh,
them.
he did Henry. He did Martin
Yep,
Cummings.
he
Oh,
did
he's
yeah,
awesome.
Yeah.
He did an
Yeah.
awesome job. It's great. Yeah.
I love it. There is a Peter here. I don't know. He says, Martha, you look like a prince in that dark light with your beautiful white face.
What?
It's the
Say what?
lighting. It's just the lighting. It's funny. It's her lighting.
Who said
There's a
that?
Peter here. That's what he said. It's a compliment. It you look cute. Nothing negative.
Thank you.
I would ban
I got my
Peter
hat on.
if he was doing something wrong. Oh, I love the hat. Jean is saying he's the life of the party, which is funny. So Cindy, you'd go back, you'd do it again?
Yes, absolutely.
Good. Now I have a question that is kind of controversial, but I don't want it to become a negative thing. It's just my opinion. Maybe I shouldn't even ask, but I'm already out, so I gotta.
Go for it, Roxanne.
Okay, so you've got the Hardy family reunion, and all three of you have been to that, correct?
Right.
Yes.
So I could word it this way: what is it about the Hardy family reunion that is special and different than this? So if somebody had to make a choice and they're like, well, this year I either can go to this or I can go to the Hardy family reunion. What is
the
special?
set?
The set?
Yeah.
Okay.
I would say the big difference would be that you get to tour the set.
All right.
Yeah.
And you feel like you're there. Now,
Yeah.
between the two, where do you have more contact with the stars? This Christmas
one, Hallmark.
This
Okay.
one, yeah.
All right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. And I do know that were any of the official admins to the Wencos?
Yes.
Yeah.
Jeanette from Michigan was there.
Jeanette, yeah.
And I talked to her several times during the weekend because I said, are you taking notes? I said, are you going to do a podcast on this? And she says, no, it's just me. So I'm just here for myself.
She was by herself, nobody else from the
No.
So I'm wondering if that was the case, that they weren't there. So did she have a special access because she does know them? I'm wondering if she
no, but I did notice that she was always down front.
Yeah, and she also had photos that are different.
Yes, I think she had a media pass or something.
Yeah. So, that was another thing. So tell me what who had media passes that were there. Maybe they'll be covering on their podcast. Like we know that Julie and Sarah did, and they already did a suspenders one. So if you haven't seen that, everyone, you can go check that out because their things are like mine. It's evergreen. It stays up if you miss the live. And who else was there?
Well, Jeanette. And to be honest, those are the only two I really saw.
Oh, okay.
There wasn't much. Local media might have done something.
Go ahead, Martha.
Angela from Hallmark was there.
Who's Angela from Hallmark?
She does media or something with Hallmark. Her name's Angela. I don't know her last name.
Okay, so they might be their media people that work for them. I was thinking more like outside of.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Because we met the guy. We met the guy who was he head of he worked for Hallmark Media. In fact, he was the guy that he was the host of the Reindeer games.
Right.
Andy, really nice guy.
Oh, he was funny.
Andy.
And he was funny.
He was funny, yeah. But he works for
was funny.
Hallmark Media. He's a big wig, I think, at Hallmark Media.
All right. Cool. Love it. Love it, girls. Thank you so much. I think that we kind of covered all the questions except Jan had one, or she made a comment, but you kind of answered it. She was like, because we're so heavily invested right here with talking about Chris, we've got a lot of Chris fans here. I was wondering if like, were there many others that were there for like Kevin and Pascal and Viv and Kyler? Did you see that too?
Yeah.
Well, there were for Kevin. Yeah, there were some there for Kevin. And I think I saw a few. There were a lot of interesting outfits. I think I saw a few Erin shirts.
Yeah, of course you
Yeah.
did. I mean, they've loved her forever.
So
I
she,
don't. Go ahead,
Yeah.
Cindy.
yeah. Other than that, yeah, I don't.
I would love to be a fly on the wall to see what went down with Andrew and Tyler and that crew that was there that weekend.
Yeah.
That was the next weekend.
Yeah.
That
That would've been
probably was
interesting,
wild.
Well,
I
I
bet.
think Tyler was there twice because he was there the first weekend because that's when they did the Kansas City Chiefs movie.
Yes.
And they had the kickoff for that. And I think they had good weather for that weekend too. I think they had a snowstorm or something during their
God.
weekend. Our weekend was good. It was chilly and we had some drizzle.
Oh,
Yeah.
That
That's what
one
they were
night.
asking. You okay? All right, hold on. I'm sorry. Give me 1 minute. Go ahead, girls. You can keep talking. I'm
But
just gonna mute myself.
I think the guys appeared to be way more accessible than the ladies. Because when you look at, like after the tree lightings, when they walked around through the crowds and stuff, and maybe somebody made the comment that the girls, they had on these thin pants or these short dresses or whatever. Right. They weren't really dressed for the cold weather. Oh, look who's here.
This is my Abby Rose. Say hi, everyone.
Hi.
Hi.
Such a good sport rating. She hurt her toe, so
oh dear,
her big toe.
But the guys seem to be out and about, and I know on Sunday after the panel, everyone left the stage except Chris and Kevin, and they stayed on stage. And they stayed until everyone that was there had gotten a picture or an autograph.
That's amazing. So that's good. And I like to hear that because I know we're very much Chris fans here, but I am sure that, all of the I would want a picture with Pascal because that woman, I want her to do my makeup. Okay.
She doesn't do her own makeup. They had makeup and hair people there.
No, Nikki. I follow her, so I see her when she's at home on her whatever.
Oh yeah,
she's just stunning to me.
Now Pascal was out and about quite a bit, and and so was Kyler. They were out a little more and had more pictures, but Chris and Brendan seem to hang together quite a bit.
That's nice.
So, and I don't know whether they knew each other before or if they met when they were doing the movie with Julie or what.
I think they've met before. Someone was saying, are you saying Kevin or Kevin? She's saying Kevin, not Kevin, Jan. She's saying Kevin.
Kevin.
All right, Martha, girls, this is your last little thing to add.
And the interaction was awesome. Oh,
good.
There you are. Hello.
I love it.
The interaction with everybody was awesome.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
I mean, you couldn't ask for anything nicer. I mean, it was worth every penny because you got to actually interact with them.
Wonderful. And Nikki, what was one last thing that you wanted to add?
Well, I agree. Having been to both events, I think the HFR is fun to go to one time. You get to see Vancouver, you get to go to the set. But as far as interaction with the cast, you get an hour and you don't really get to interact with them. They just sit up there and answer questions. Okay. With the Kansas City event, they were all over. I mean, you could see them walking in the hallway or in the hotel. You could see them walking over at the plaza. You could talk to them after events, and they were just so accessible, and you had so many chances all weekend to interact with the stars.
Exactly.
The only thing that the photo op, they
That's
kind
a
of
good word.
they pushed you kind of through that really fast, because after I did the Merry Christmas video and then took my pictures, I would have liked to talk to Andy McDowell and Kyler Lee about the way home and shake their hands, but they just kind of kept pushing you out the door after you were done. But they had, like I said, they for 3 hours taking pictures, and that whole room was full of people waiting in line to get their pictures taken.
Yeah. Yeah. Cindy, what would be your last thing that you'd like to add?
Again, I agree that the interaction was certainly a highlight, and it was just so much fun to see, you know, them all interacting, enjoying each other, as well as the fans. Excuse me. So I'm just so lucky that I got to go and met a lot of nice people, and I just really a unforgettable experience. And I hope next year that if I go, that maybe more of us will go, and I think it would be just a fantastic time.
If they do this again, and I'm almost positive they will, because I think it was a big success, we will definitely be more organized.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, the first time you do something, this was the first time they had done this. And the first time you do something, there's always going to be glitches.
Right.
You know, you need to find out what works, what doesn't work. And yeah, so not only will, I'm sure they'll tweak some things, but the fans will know now that have gone once, and they'll know,
Yes.
okay, this is what this is and what I need to do. And so yeah, but the first time out, it's always, you know, you gotta get the kinks out. And
but you know,
and another thing too, if there's people that are interested in it and you want to ask any questions, just, you know, we're on Facebook, feel free to reach out.
Please.
Be glad to answer anything or any questions you have.
That's good to know.
Yes, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Cool. So before we go, they're just saying thank you. Jenny's saying thank you, ladies, for sharing your experience with us. And Christina says, thank you, ladies, for chatting with us. And of course, a whole bunch of people are saying hi to you, Rosie. Jan's saying that sounds better just because it isn't a lottery to get there. If you want to go, you go. That's true. Jean said, thank you so much for sharing your experience. Kathy says, thanks, Ro, Martha, Nikki, Cindy, for sharing your wonderful experiences. And Chris is saying, thank you. There's all kinds of good stuff. Reggie, thanks, ladies, for sharing. Reggie says she's loving the photos and videos that you also shared. I didn't hook any of the videos up because our faces would get even smaller, and sometimes we get dumped out when that happens. So I'm like, I'm not taking that chance. But your videos are on the page.
And we tried, between, I think, the three of us, we tried to post as much as we could, especially of Chris. And I'm probably the worst video and picture taker ever. So, but they were there, and we wanted to share as much as we could, you know, about the experience and what Chris was doing and how they were interacting. So I hope that came through in the videos and pictures that we posted.
They did. I thought it was so generous and sweet. I loved it. I was like, look at them. I thought, and then another one would pop up and another one. I'm like, oh, there was.
I may still have some stuff that I haven't posted yet. I got to go through it because
I know I do.
I can't remember what I posted and what I didn't. So I still have a few things.
So
I'll have to go through it.
I'm going to end with this. So Sandy says, thank you, makes me want to make sure I get there next year. And quite a few people said that. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to make sure that the Hallmark peeps get to see this, because then maybe if they sell more, you three will get a discount next time.
Sell more.
That would be nice.
That'd be nice.
And
Can we get a media pass too?
We need
Yeah.
to get
Yeah, there
media
you go.
passes representing
media
your
pass.
podcast, everything about Hallmark podcasts. We'll
I'll
get
get the media.
buttons. We'll get buttons.
I'll get a
And-
media.
Yeah.
I'll get the media pass, and I'll say, and these are all my assistants. Step aside.
There you go.
That's right. Remember, I'm only 3 hours away.
Yes, that's true. That's
Well-
true. I know. All right, girls. Thank you so much. You stay
You are
on.
more
We
than
say-
welcome.
we
Thank
say
you.
goodnight, and then I say goodnight to you behind the scenes. All right, everyone. So if you
Bye,
are
everybody.
if you are
Bye.
a The Way Home fan, if you tune in on, I know we set it up for this crazy time, but it was getting close. New Year's Day night at 8 p.m. I have a guest who lives where they film, and she has been holding all this stuff because I asked the publicist when we could show it, and she said, "Please wait. Don't do it." So we've had it for months, and she's finally going to share, and she's going to sort of show some behind the scenes of them filming, because they film right in her town, which is so
Oh,
exciting.
that's awesome.
Yeah. So that'll be on what is that? What, not tomorrow, but the next day at 8:00. And if those of you are, tired and still in your jammies and staying in bed or conked out because you had a really good time with a champagne, that's fine, because it always posts and you can come back and see it anyway. All right, girls, you stay there. I'm going to end the stream. Good night, everyone.
Happy New Year,
Bye,
everybody.
guys.
Happy New Year.